This isn't a basic capital quiz. The questions change. The challenge gets harder. Let's see how far you get. First question. Which city serves as the capital of Saudi Arabia? B. Riyadh. Question 2. Canada's national government is based in which city? C. Ottawa. Question 3. Which capital city is located in the Australian Capital Territory? C. Canberra. Question 4. This South American country moved its capital inland. What's the capital? A. Brasilia. Question 5. What is the capital of Turkey? B. Ankara. Number 6. Which city is home to Japan's imperial palace and national government? B. Tokyo. Question 7. Which city became Germany's capital again after reunification? C. Berlin. Question 8. Which capital city sits along the Nile River and serves as Egypt's political center? C. Cairo. Question 9. Spain's government is headquartered in which centrally located city? B. Madrid. Already at question 10. Which city serves as South Africa's executive capital? A. Pretoria. Question 11. Which Scandinavian capital was formerly known as Christiania? A. Oslo. Question 12. Which South American capital's name translates to good heirs? C. Buenos Aires. Question 13. Which capital city is famous for having one of the longest official city names in the world? C. Bangkok. Question 14. Which capital city sits at the southern end of New Zealand's North Island? B. Wellington. 5 easy questions left. Which capital city of Poland was extensively rebuilt after World War II? C. Warsaw. Question 16. Which Atlantic-facing city serves as Portugal's capital? B. Lisbon. Number 17. Which city's name literally translates to capital city in Korean? C. Seoul. Question 18. Which capital city of Peru was founded in the 16th century? C. Lima. Question 19. Which Nordic capital is spread across 14 islands? A. Stockholm. Question 20. Which coastal city serves as Morocco's political capital? A. Rabat. Round 2. Helsinki is the capital of which country? B. Finland. Question 22. What is the capital of Hungary? B. Budapest. Question 23. This landmark is located in which capital city? A. Rome. Question 24. Vienna is the capital of which country? A. Austria. Number 25. What is the capital of Indonesia? C. Jakarta. Question 26. Tallinn is the capital of which country? C. Estonia. Question 27. What is the capital of Kazakhstan? B. Astana. Question 28. This landmark is located in which capital city? B. Barcelona. Question 29. Bern is the capital of which country? C. Switzerland. Number 30. What is the capital of Bolivia? A. Sucre. Question 31. Reykjavik is the capital of which country? C. Iceland. Question 32. What is the capital of Sri Lanka? B. Sri Jayawardenepura Kota. Question 33. This landmark is located in which capital city? A. Kuala Lumpur. Abuja is the capital of which country? C. Nigeria. Almost to round 3. What is the capital of Mongolia? A. Ulaanbaatar. Question 36. Yerevan is the capital of which country? C. Armenia. Question 37. What is the capital of Laos? B. Vientiane. Question 38. This landmark is located in which capital city? B. Athens. Question 39. Doha is the capital of which country? C. Qatar. Question 40. What is the capital of Papua New Guinea? B. Port Moresby. Round 3. What is the capital of Tanzania? B. Dodoma. 42. Naypyidaw is the capital of which country? A. Myanmar. Question 43. What is the capital of Nigeria? B. Abuja. Question 44. Ljubljana is the capital of which country? C. Slovenia. Number 45. What is the capital of Botswana? B. Gaborone. Question 46. Yamoussoukro is the capital of which country? B. Côte d'Ivoire. Question 47. This city is the capital, but not the seat of government. Which country? A. Netherlands. Question 48. Belmopan became capital after a hurricane. Which country? C. Belize. Question 49. Which country's capital city is Yaoundé? A. Cameroon. Halfway there. Question 50. Podgorica is the capital of which country? A. Montenegro. Question 51. Antananarivo is the capital of which country? A. Madagascar. Question 52. This country moved its capital from Karachi. Which country? B. Pakistan. Question 53. This landmark is found in which capital city? B. London. Question 54. Which country has Lusaka as its capital city? A. Zambia. Number 55. Skopje is the capital of which country? C. North Macedonia. Question 56. Zagreb is the capital of which country? B. Croatia. Question 57. This country's capital sits high in the Himalayas. Which country? A. Nepal. Question 58. What is the capital of Oman? C. Muscat. Question 59. Which country's capital is Quito? A. Ecuador. Question 60. Paramaribo is the capital of which country? B. Suriname. Round 4. Question 61. Santiago is the capital of which country? B. Chile. Question 62. This landmark is located in which capital city? A. Tehran. Question 63. Which of these is the capital of Vietnam? B. Hanoi. Question 64. Tbilisi is the capital of which country? C. Georgia. Number 65. This city is the capital, not the largest. Which country? A. Czechia. Question 66. This landmark belongs to which capital city? A. Sofia. Question 67. This capital sits at the foothills of the Tian Shan Mountains. Which city? A. Bishkek. Question 68. Which capital belongs to Slovakia, not Slovenia? C. Bratislava. Question 69. This building is found in which capital city? C. Kampala. Which of these is the capital of Tajikistan? A. Dushanbe. Number 71. This landmark belongs to which capital city? A. Baku. Question 72. This city is the regional capital at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro. C. Moshi. Question 73. Which capital belongs to Latvia, not Lithuania? A. Riga. This building is found in which capital city? B. Bucharest. Question 75. Which of these is the capital of Turkmenistan? A. Ashgabat. Question 76. This landmark belongs to which capital city? B. Asmara. Which capital belongs to Bosnia and Herzegovina? C. Sarajevo. Number 78. This capital lies on the Chirchek River. B. Tashkent. Question 79. This monument is found in which capital city? A. Dakar. Question 80. Which of these is the capital of Albania? B. Tirana. Final stretch. Question 81. Valletta is the capital of which country? B. Malta. Question 82. Which country's capital is Ljubljana, not Bratislava? B. Slovenia. Which country in the Horn of Africa has Asmara as its capital? C. Eritrea. Question 84. This landmark belongs to which capital city? B. Ulaanbaatar. Question 85. Nicosia is the capital of which country? A. Cyprus. Number 86. Which capital uses the kwanza? A. Luanda. Question 87. Itega became the capital in 2019. Which country? C. Burundi. Question 88. Which capital was formerly called Leopoldville? B. Kinshasa. Which capital is on São Tomé Island? A. São Tomé. Question 90. Which capital sits at the mouth of the Gambia River? C. Banjul. Number 91. Which capital is known by the exonym Pressburg in German? A. Bratislava. Question 92. Which capital uses UTC plus 0545? A. Kathmandu. Residents are called Helsingforsare. Which capital? C. Helsinki. Question 94. Which capital sits at roughly 3,650 meters above sea level? B. La Paz. Question 95. Which capital's primary language is Dzongkha? A. Thimphu. Number 96. Which capital was formerly known as Saigon? A. Ho Chi Minh City. Question 97. Which capital city lies entirely within another country? C. Vatican City. Question 98. Which capital is governed as a federal district, not part of any state or province? A. Washington, D.C. Question 99. Which capital uses Amharic as its official language? A. Addis Ababa. Final question. Which pair are two national capitals facing each other across a river? B. Brazzaville and Kinshasa. If you made it to the end, you're in the top few percent. Let me know your score in the comments below.